I may have told them a few things. So if you see it in the LEC before TCS, you know that was me. And I'm banned. Hey, there's no point playing this. Should just dodge, honestly. I'm in promos.
matter is at least for the side of Eastern Wizards first, that I want to focus on, is the Aatrox. He's going to be playing into Maokai for Vinny. Aatrox is the lane bully. If he can win the lane, he will be massive in the mid-game teamfights, and he will pretty much become an unstoppable monster. And now, if you are Eastern Wizards, you put your focus towards Hippie, you get that guy ahead, and he probably will carry the entire game for you.
Yeah, Hippie is definitely in a position to succeed just because, Maokai, you never think of this champion as a real lane threat, and it just makes him really easy pickings if you end up picking any sort of carry style champion. And really, we could have seen anything come out of Hippie, and I would have been like, yeah, all right, this is going to be a top lane focus game from Lemon Monster King because it's a Maokai. You can actually pick any carry champion and you should win that matchup. For Maokai, it's a little bit confusing because this is a blind pick Maokai. Typically, when we do see Maokai, it is, at least in this meta, you're taking it as a counter pick of some sort because you're not going to get heavily abused. But Vinny has decided to take up the mantle and take one for the team. And, well, now we've got very polarized map from the side of 7 a.m. and for Eastern Wizards.
Yeah, now let's talk about the 7 a.m. because we talked about Eastern Wizards, the team fighting the Aatrox, alright, all that stuff is good, but 7 a.m. You've got a Syndra, and also you've got a Kaiser Lux bot lane. I feel like both of these lanes, they have got the potential to snowball really hard. Bot lane probably will not be winning on their own, although that's probably really complicated, and the individual plays will have a huge say in that. But I am looking at Yoni's Syndra. This guy throughout the split has had some pop-off performances, mostly on champions like Zoe or other mages. But now that he's playing that burst mage in Syndra, if you get him ahead, he will yet again be that stable damage dealer that will be able to delete most of the targets of Eastern Wizards.
Yeah, and for sure, if Yoni does get ahead here, the side of Eastern Wizards, they're all going to be pretty much really squishy, unless if we do see the Cinderhulk Jarvan build come out from Lemon Monster King, which I think in this composition is a very good choice because you do want to play more around your Orianna, your Xayah, your Aatrox. Well, more so around the Orianna Xayah. You don't want to be diving necessarily as far as Aatrox to just try and zero out a target right away. That's not your purpose in this composition. Your comp is built to take on the elongated team fights and slowly win out onto those because your damage dealers, you've got more damage on your side, and Yoni, he is going to be able to zero out the backline targets. It's just a matter of how annoying will this Aatrox and Jarvan be in his face?
Yeah, that is going to be the big question that we will take in the game. Also, something worth remembering. Even though it is a semi-final, it is still a best of 3. Which means that the point that we have repeated yesterday and that I will just mention again is that game ones matter much more in a best of 3 than in a best of 5, just because it will already put you on a match point if you lose here, and that could be a big mental advantage for really any of the teams.
Yeah, game 1 is heavily important. Definitely, if we were talking about a best of 5, some of those bans would have, changed up because you'd prepare something like a specific counter pick just to see how it does into some of these matchups. Namely, the Irelia, I feel 7 a.m. would perhaps let that go through. Although, if you're expecting to go into the hands of Hippie and you're planning to pick a Maokai pick, then, maybe not let that through. But you still get the Aatrox over on the side of Eastern Wizards, and this is an incredibly powerful pick that has a high potential of snowballing, unless if the largest snowball ever decides to make a pit stop up its top side.
Yeah, definitely, as we should be getting into Summoner's Rift anytime soon. There was a bit of a pause as one of the players was late into the game, but now the game has started. Game 1 of that best of 3 semi-final match between 7 AM and Eastern Wizards will start right now.
Yeah, it does look like both of these teams are looking to make some sort of greeting happen in this bottom side of the map. In fact,
this could be really spicy since the light binding from Lux will do a lot of work. 7 AM do spot Eastern Wizards on that Tribush ward.
Okay. Yeah, but half of them decided to pull off incredibly early on, and that prompts the rest of them to leave as well. So even though we were hyping up an exciting level 1 battle, ends up turning out to be both teams just kind of, or at least 7 AM, just sitting in bed still.
Yeah, but they don't need the level 1 kills. I don't think in any of the games you really need the level 1 kills. It's just something that sometimes players decide to... I can't do English grammar today. It's something that some players will sometimes decide to go for to gain themselves those early kills, which can be very influential, but there are no level 1 shenanigans. Both junglers will be starting on their bot sides, and we'll see if they will decide to go for any early ganks.
Yeah, that'll be the big question here, as you know, both of these junglers do have the potential to really output that early gank potential. As Nunu damage is definitely very high at this point in the game. It does look like both junglers are opting to continue jungling and make their way up to the top side of the map. And we do have that Raptor ward placed down by the side of 7 AM. So they're in a good position to make sure Vinny is at least aware of, you know, when he might get some pressure up into that top side, because that's going to be incredibly scary to deal with, especially if you do get dove on your tower and you end up dying, you lose a minion wave and a half, and all of a sudden this Aatrox gets all the freedom in the world.
However, you know, alright, I will have to hold on to that next point, because Titus is looking for an early gank in the top lane onto Hippie, trying to shut down that Aatrox. Can he get the knockup? Yes, he does. With this double flash away, Hippie tries to get out, but he does not, and Vinny picks up the first blood.
Yeah, and that's a huge overextension coming out from Hippie, knowing that the Nunu did start bot side. He had the full knowledge, and now it looks like Lemon Monster King, he wants to make an aggressive move here.
Oh, Yoni forced to flash away as the Flag and Drag did come out. Here comes Titus though with the snowball. He doesn't quite get the knockup. He's looking for the snowball barrage in onto Lemon Monster King. That is a lot of damage onto the jar, and he does get away over the wall. And now again, he's stuck in the melee. He still has got his flash and could be looking to go aggressive, but oh, here comes Yoni with the Sky of the Week picking up the kill. That's a great 2-0 start for 7 AM as action continues in the ball lane. Sneezy trying to throw out the feathers. The Blade Caller connects with the root onto Fake Bananas, and in the jungle they just don't stop fighting. The smite coming out. Lemon Monster King, he has to flash away. The battle for the Scuttle continues, but it will be Titus who will be getting himself that gold.
Yeah, and you think that Lemon Monster King could potentially look to continue that fight because he does have the red buff. However, if you look at the position of this bot lane that we're looking at right now, it's very apparent that, you know, the lane position is in favor of the side of 7 AM, and there's no way that this bot lane duo would have allowed Lemon Monster King to get an advantage, but...
Yeah, talking about Lemon Monster King, he's found out in the top lane yet again. That's a flash forward. Again, he tries to get a kill, but it is Yoni picking up his second on the Syndra. Titus is trying to kite back, but Legerin will be able to equalize the trade. Can he escape? And yeah, I don't think he can. Yoni on a killing spree, just 4.5 minutes in. And here goes Vinny onto Hippie aggressively on the Maokai. Yeah, that's not a trade you want to take.
Yeah. Maokai typically doesn't win those, especially against the third strike of the Darkened Blade onto Aatrox. If you get hit by that, you're in for a huge world of hurt. And now with the 3 kills onto Yoni and double buffs. Oh man, if I'm like Legenden, I'd just be like, all right, we'll just open mid. You guys can just walk through. Don't mind me.
I'm not sure opening mid is exactly the thing he wanted
Lemon
to
Monster King?
in the semifinals. As yeah, Lemon Monster King is cut out.
He got the Scuttle Crab.
You see, I think it's because we haven't seen 7 AM in such a long time that this is something out of the ordinary. But they were off to a very similar start at the beginning of Division 1. They were stomping absolutely everyone. And they are showing that absolutely nothing changes in playoffs. Again, and he doesn't have the flash. The snowball goes a little bit wide, but Titus still looking for the root, and kill goes over to Yoni. That's a rampage at not even 6 minutes.
Yeah. That's very terrifying. Titus still going rampant into the jungle of this Jarvan. Lemon Monster King has been really nullified this game. And I mean, certainly part of the credit goes to these laners from the side of 7 AM, standing tall, being able to continue to fight for minion priority, but at the same time, it's Lemon Monster King just overextending without his own lane priority.
And also Titus, he's 0-1-6, you know, he has 100% kill participation, and usually those players we say that they're playing great, but Titus is so good, he has 100% kill participation for both of the teams.
Yep. He is everything he touches is having some sort of ripple effect. You saw him die, you saw him get kills, but mostly it's been making magic with Yoni in this middle lane. And with how much power Yoni has, it's just hard to conceive of a way that...
Fakeana's good flash away from the grand entrance. Here comes the light binding from Petarik. He's looking to get some damage in return onto Sneezy. However, that was just a good trade from Eastern Wizards, and not a lot more that 7 AM can do in this bot lane.
Yep, 7 AM in the bot lane. Their job is to just kind of hold even here. And, you know, with Patrick on this Lux, he is in a good position to just continue holding this lane, suppressing this lane down. And I mean, yeah, and it's shown in the CS differential. Look, it's 20 CS. That's nuts.
Yeah, I was going to say, you say that Fake and Anas and Petarik need to stay even. How about getting ahead in CS? That also works. That's, as you said, nearly 20 at 8 minutes. Like, you know, I am surprised, honestly. Although 7 AM have been performing this well throughout the entire split, but that is such a strong statement to make in the first game.
Yeah, it's understandable. You see in the mid lane, there's a 20 CS differential.
Rest in peace, Jesus Christ, Yoni.
Goodbye.
That's a 5-0-1 Syndra at 8.5 minutes. I shouldn't even be surprised by this damage.
Was he even there? Was he even there? And that's the real question.
Yeah, I mean, if Lemon Monster King didn't even see the Syndra, then did Yoni even hit him?
Yeah, exactly. That was painful to watch. Not gonna lie. But that's just how far ahead Yoni is right now, and really, it's the onus is on Yoni to continue to move around the map. You can only kill Legenden so many times before you're not getting that much money. So now it's time to make the money happen elsewhere on the map, whether it's applying kill pressure onto this bot lane or, you know, go kill Lemon Monster King over and over again. That works too.
Yeah, or even go and kill Hip even more times, because Vinny, he's doing very well so far on this Maokai compared he's playing into an Aatrox. He did pick up those 2 kills outside of the laning phase though, or at least with the interference of the other lanes, so he's not really winning the 1v1, but I don't think we should be expecting anyone to win that 1v1, and so far what we're seeing from 7am is pretty much perfect. So before this game gets completely out of hand, how do Eastern Wizards want to come back?
Well, it's a little bit difficult to really see where they come out here. But maybe a pause time will allow them to collect their thoughts. That a perfectly timed pause coming out from 7am. Eastern Wizards have a little bit of time, of course, from... it is going to be a very, very quick one. I'm not sure what the pause was for, but surely a little well needed for the side of Eastern Wizards. And really, I think it comes down to putting more attention up into this top side. Get Hippie ahead. This man has a Maokai matchup. All you had to do was bring the Jarvan up into this top side. That's all you needed. But they haven't given him any attention. Instead, it's just been Lemon Monster King dying in that top side river.
Alright, so this is what we are looking at. Alternatively, I think getting Xayah Rakan ahead is a possibility. Though they don't have a super winning matchup as Legend in the mid lane. Yoli unleashes his power onto him and he drops like a fly. Now in the ball lane, the play could be made. There is the quickness channeled by Noxy. The charm will connect onto Fake Ass. He is rooted up with the Blade Caller. That's a great kill instinct, though the Ignite is still down. Light Banning connects as well as the final spark. And Noxy is actually going to drop to Fake Ass, but it is a 1-for-1 as Sneezy able to get himself on the board.
Yeah, very nice gank coming out from the side of Eastern Wizards onto that bottom bot lane. However, what a play coming out from Patrick and Fake Ananas. Being able to just absolutely turn things around and at least trade evenly. And now Yoni, he gets more cash for himself. Oh my god.
0-1. Luden's Echo Sword Boots at 11.5 minutes, and he's sitting on 1,400 gold.
This man has 3,000 gold advantage. Like, most of these people only have 3,000 gold. What?
Yes. This is Yoni playing Syndra. Together with Titus, they were able to set up around that mid lane. And I think I also realized one last hope for Eastern Wizards. You can't always try and scale and look for wombo combos. I'm not saying you're gonna win 5v5s always, because Syndra, Kai'Sa, Lux, and Solid front line, they're also decent. But your AoE with the Cataclysm, Quickness, and Shockwave, if landed properly, should win those.
Oh yeah, I mean, the possibility is there, but the issue is when Legeddon is building a Negatron cloak, that delays his Luden's Echo and own Sork Boots combination, so it'll be even longer for him to actually get to a point where the Wombo combo with Jarvan actually does damage. And this composition right now, with how far behind they are, you're looking at something. Ooh, here comes the play.
Looking for a play, yeah, and it is 3 members of 7am in the ball lane. Teleport is channeled as well. Shockwave goes a bit wide. Lemon was getting stuck in the bot side. Hippie has completed the teleport. He has got the world ender, and there's going to be a 5 versus 5. King Tide is picking up a kill. Fake Ananas getting second one already, and that's 7am with 2 quick assassinations, and a 5-man stack will be looking to push down that ball lane tier 1.
Yeah, and it was just read so perfectly from the side of Mouse Plays, or 7am, excuse me. Alright, Fake Ananas is having a little bit of an issue there, but I mean, I guess it gives us a little bit of time to reflect by that call from, 7am. They just waited in that bot lane, knew that they had the teleport coming in from Vinny. So even if, you would still say Hippie, probably a little bit stronger than Vinny yet. But you did have Yoni also making his way down. And the power of Yoni is 2 champions, actually. Because his gold value is about 2 champions. But as long as you bring that man down, you win any even man fight. And that was an even man fight, and you saw them win very convincing fashion. And Yeah. The side of Eastern Wizards, they have to at this, while they are looking to still come back into this game, at the same time, if you are coaching staff, you're looking ahead. What changes can we make going into game number 2? Because even if they are able to turn things around, you don't want this early game ever again.
Yeah, Titus, Yoni, Vinny, that trio was able to play around the top side so well. And now they also got the transfer into the bot side. Fakenas was doing well together with Patrick in the 2v2. Now they get some more kills. They will get that bot lane tower. As we speak, we are 13 and a half minutes in the game. The plates haven't yet fallen. And that is a 7,000 gold lead. I've seen gold leads this large only emerge at 40 minutes at times.
Yeah, I think there was only one other. I don't remember how large the gold lead was, but it was early on when I think it was right when turret plates ended up coming out. SKT, they took every single turret plate in the Kespa Cup, and that was an insane game, but that was also SKT doing it against, I believe it was...
I'm not going to help you on this one.
Oh, man. It was one of the lower tier teams, and it was ugly. But definitely reminiscent of that fact here where everywhere is... everything's on fire. Everything. You're bringing in the planes. You're bringing in the fire trucks. This fire isn't going.
Yeah,
not going.
And one of the questions I had personally is, 7 a.m. They came into the split. They were undefeated for 5 weeks. Then they lost a match against Topaz, and they also dropped a couple of points. And I thought, are they going to be not as dominant? Are we going to see them maybe be a bit more leveled with the teams? And we didn't get that many stream games towards the end of the split, so we didn't get to answer this question now. And it's only really now in the playoffs that we get to see it. And I am happy to say, no, it's not at all more even. They are just as dominant as they always were.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of the teams that they had their number against, They did... I'm pretty sure they played Eastern Wizards early on in the season, and they gave them a big drubbing. They smashed them. I feel like we ended up casting that game as well, but...
I casted so many games I don't
even
know.
7 a.m. They're definitely very, very awake, even though it's a little bit of an early time for them, 7 a.m. It's, they're up, they're raring to go. They're looking to end this game very quickly. It's 13 kills in this game, and we're only 14 minutes. This is a high action game, and I'm sure you enjoy that.
Yeah, I do. And this is also, however, where we get to judge how clean teams are at closing the games out. Because, getting a lead is one thing. Closing the game out is another. And whereas on, this kind of level where you have high diamond teams, potentially playing at ERL or slightly sub-ERL level, you start seeing those two go in tandem. But I still am curious to how cleanly 7 a.m. will be able to finish this game, provided Eastern Wizards don't find a great comeback, which, you always have to keep in mind, just so that we're not biased.
Yeah, and this team isn't a joke. Eastern Wizards are not a joke. They just made it into CSD, so this is a team that is very talented, and the side of 7 a.m., they're just smashing them. Oh my god.
That is a support without pretty much any AP items. Oh, okay, well, Yoni is going with the unleashed power, 11 Monster King is going to drop, however, Vinny isn't done with that engage. Nature's grasp into a whole lot of CC legend, and that's a nice shockwave, but it's not going to save you.
Yeah, not only does it not save you, it also, kind of tickled them. I didn't see much damage come out. Not gonna lie.
I don't think we will be seeing a lot of damage from the Orianna anytime soon, provided, as you mentioned, you got it itemized defensively for so much magic resist against Yoni. And the thing is, magic resistance is actually going to be very useful against the entire team of 7am, since even Kai'Sa is going to be dealing some of the AP on hit, and all the other champions are pretty much magic damage only. So, alright, well, that is a pick that Eastern Wizards could be looking themselves to get. As Faker and as flashing over that wall, he doesn't have any summoners. He's still got the He's trying to go in, try and get out, but it is going to be a shutdown. That's a good gold going over to Eastern Wizards.
Yeah, however, unfortunately, it does go on to Lemon Monster King. Not to harp onto Lemon Monster King, but you really need the extra gold to go onto one of your damage dealers. And that just wasn't the case, and so unfortunately, it's not going to be as helpful. And
finding the stun and the flag and drag over the wall. Oh, he actually does manage to survive the burst. The final spark will not connect. Lemon Monster King gets out alive.
And in a big survival there, not giving more gold over to Yoni, and they will be able to transition this into an Ocean Dragon. But at 17 minutes into the game, your Eastern Wizards, you're very happy with the RNG of the dragon so far.
Yeah, the silver lining, in its most literal sense, as it is just an ocean and just a cloud drake, which is much better than an Infernal sitting on top of that 2-item Syndra. You can see Sneezy, he's trying to catch up. He finished the Essence Weaver again, and he's still a long way off of anything. No. He's got the flash available. Will it be enough to escape? I don't think he can even use it, as Titus gets his second kill of the game. Now 2-1-9 on Nunu.
Yeah, that did not look very fun. I don't think he got to play League of Legends at all in that moment.
He has got Merchants as well, so yeah. He's got tenacity. I just want you all to keep that in mind. The crowd control was reduced, and he still couldn't flash out as now. 7am, looking to siege down that tier 2 in the middle lane. They will pick it up easily. There is nothing that Eastern Wizards will be able to do to stop them for the next, I don't know, I'm going to go for 15 more minutes before Eastern Wizards can look for any meaningful fights. Feel free to disagree.
15 minutes seems a little bit of an understatement, but you know, it's a fair point. If they're able to hold, like, if this 10k is only 10k in 15 more minutes, and the game still is going on in 15 more minutes, they've got a Hail Mary opportunity. They have the chance to make that wombo play happen. But, you know, your mid laner still doesn't have a single full item built. That's very rough. Your AD carry's in a position to start grinding out some of the damage, but he's still not quite there yet. Once we see that Zeal item built up, that's when we'll see some damage start to come out. But it's still... If he oversteps one moment and Yoni ults him, I'm pretty sure even with the heal he dies.
Yeah, well, I just to clarify my point, I meant 15 minutes until Eastern Wizards combo will actually do something. It's not until they start winning, because I don't think there will be truly a point where 7am are like, well, boys, we got outscaled. No, I don't think it happens this game. There's only a point at which Eastern Wizards will be like, if we get our abilities right, we can win, but it will never be a guarantee.
Yeah, and I think in 15 minutes, the best shot they have is going to be about a 30-70. If you clash heads 5v5, I would say it's about a 30-70, and you have to play it perfectly too. And even then, I would only give you chances to be that, as it looks like the side of 7am, they're just going to take the Baron, and I'm pretty sure the Baron is just a death sentence here.
Definitely will be used to break open the base. That I think we can take that for granted, unless there will be that big miraculous engage, the mythical creature for Eastern Wizards that they will need to rely on in this first game of the semi-final at 7am. They're just taking a stroll in the top side, knocking down the star, and then they will look to do exactly the same to the inhib.
Yeah, they've got the minion wave set up
Oh, that is a
into
big
the
stun
top
onto
line. Oh!
Sneezy. Yoli just deletes him. There is the engage from Eastern Wizards, but they just don't have enough damage. Fake Kananas kills Nox. 11 also looking Ghost Golem in the front line. Vinny on a killing spree. The double kill for Fake Kananas. Leganon is the only person surviving, and I'm not gonna lie, I think 7am could even look for the finish.
Yeah, I think that not only is it a possibility, it will be done here. As there's just no one left on the side of Eastern Wizards. You see Legend, and he's just walking it down bot lane to collect that wave of farm just to pad the stats before the game is over. And yeah, statement game.
Yeah, 15,000 gold ahead at 21.5 minutes. 7am take the game 1 of the best of 3 semi-final. They are now sitting on a match point themselves with what I think we can safely call a stomp.
Yeah, that was it was hard to watch. It was definitely hard to watch. I don't think Lemon Monster King got to play much of League of Legends after I would say 4 minutes.
I would go earlier because he got invaded in the jungle. It was the level 3 gank in the mid lane, and it already started going downhill from
His
there.
first death was 4 minutes. So after that, he definitely didn't get to play the game.
Yeah, but it is just 7am playing this well, and the question is, are Eastern Wizards capable of finding the comeback?
Yeah, the side of 7am, they've woken up fresh. And if you look at that gameplay, it's very clean. They're fresh and clean. So it's a very tough uphill battle for the Wizards. But, I mean, it's in their name. They have to make magic happen here.
Alright, but we will throw it over to a short break, so catch us right back in the game 2 to see if 7am will take a 2-0 ticket to the finals, or if Eastern Wizards will pull out that miracle and take us to the game 3. welcome back everyone. We are already here, ready to jump into the second game in any moment. And yeah, the eyes are definitely on Eastern Wizards. Can they make the comeback in the series? Can they at least have a strong showing? You know, if you are going to go down in the semifinals, at least don't make it an 0-2 stomp.
Yeah, at the very least, I want to see them going out guns blazing. And, you know, it really comes down to just resetting some of that mental game. Just reasserting yourselves. Not just buying tenacity in the game, but also bringing the tenacity outside of the game. And I really just want to see a little more focus come out from the side of Eastern Wizards in putting attention into these side lanes. You saw the kill possibilities for this bottom lane with the Zyra Khan duo, and of course that Aatrox Maokai matchup. You're always going to have the kill threat there, but we just didn't see the Jarvan hit these lanes until it's just too little too late.
Yeah, we didn't at all. And what will be the adaptations as we are moving into the draft? We'll see if Eastern Wizards decide to change their bans, maybe change their picks, or maybe they just say that we like the comp, we just didn't like the execution. That is also the third possibility, as the picks and bans, they are starting off very similar to what we saw already in game 1.
Yeah, and 7 a.m. again banning out Yuumi, which is typically, I would say, a red side ban, just because most people aren't locking in Yuumi immediately first pick. So you're typically going to see it on the blue side more so than on the red side as far as bans go. But again, the bans looking very similar. Eastern Wizards, I want to see a little more early game focus in the ganking portion rather than Lemon Monster King trying to get vision for his team. You saw him go on to a little bit of ward missions, whether it's ward missions or scuttle crab missions, and he got punished quite heavily around those.
Alright, and Morgana, it is now left open, and Eastern Wizards decide to first pick it. We'll see whether they decide to play around it, that's one, or if they do, how they are going to do it, as Karma was left open and 7 a.m. are going to get their hands on it.
Yeah, so Morgana being snagged up for Noxy. It does seem to be a little bit of priority here, and we'll have to see if his bindings are as good or if not better than his Lux bindings, as Karma Caitlyn locked in for the side of 7 a.m. This could be a terrifying duo in this bottom lane, or it might be the Karma top to match the Irelia or mid lane.
Interesting thought. However, I think I do like the Caitlyn Karma bot lane in terms of the push and priority it will provide, and we saw Fakenats and Petaragon and Kaiser Lux last time. They were still ahead in CS. If they get the opportunity to poke down the enemy bot lane, they could perform theoretically even better. However, I do agree with you, it is still a flex, so we cannot say with certainty it is going to support, though I feel like Sneezy and Oxy are going to be playing that Ezreal Morgana lane unless something crazy happens and we see Legenden pick up that Morgana mid.
Yeah, and that certainly could be a possibility, as Morgana mid's still very viable. The issue is the fact that... Oh, okay! That was a very quick lock.
That is a champion I haven't seen ever casting and in a while watching.
Yeah, the only person I've really seen play this champion has been Rush, and you know, that was still about 4 months ago. So even I haven't seen Rush play Nidalee. Nidalee has been one of his favorite champions, but Nidalee definitely an exciting champion to watch because of how fast she clears the jungle in that first 1 and 2 clears in comparison to everyone else, and she has a little bit of that Rek'Sai mentality. I would say it's sort of like an AP Rek'Sai version, at least in the early game phase, because you're always looking to scrap and you clear very quickly and healthily, so it's all about finding the fights, finding that jungler.
and I just looked through some of the OPGGs if I have missed anything. Well, Nidalee definitely isn't on Titus's most played list, but he has two games in the last 7 days. It could probably, I mean, of course, the profiles aren't everything. There are those things called scrims that you guys are probably aware of. Could have been practiced there. No way we could have seen that coming. And okay, that is a Tam Kane. So 7 AM going for a very interesting composition in the second game.
Yeah, and also we have to bring up the fact that Nidalee used to be way back when used to be a big top lane bruiser pick. And
yeah, that's way back.
And Irelia had a rough time against Nidalee top. I will bring that up as well because you just constantly get harassed down. And given the fact that Karma top has come back into flavor as well, I wouldn't be surprised to see Iceborne Gauntlet Nidalee in that top side. So the possibilities are there. I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, it's always good to expect the unexpected. However, Eastern Wizards, they are going for a much more standard composition. The last hour is on the junglers, and it is in the least, so you wanted to see more early game. Well, now Lemon Monster King, he has to go early game because he doesn't have anything else, and Xerath will be the pick to finish off 7 AM's composition.
Yeah, and we've got a huge mix of flex picks from everywhere. Eastern Wizards, they are going to be able to pick the ideal matchup for this Irelia. The Ryze can pretty much go anywhere. He's going to do okay, whereas the Irelia does need to get going early on to really be a pick that excels. And right now we see Vinny on the Kench, and I mean, it fits his profile, right? He's been that big tank player for this team, and, you know, Kench is, again, in that style.
I mean, he does play tanks. He also plays the Irelia really well. So if you would trust anyone to counterpick something into the Irelia, I think Vinny is one of those people. That being said, Hippie also plays a lot of Irelia. So top lane is definitely something to watch when it comes to familiarity of both of those players with how they should be playing it. And hey, if Tamkins gets a hand in the lane, then it isn't pretty. However, if Irelia does it, then we could be very much looking at a game 3.
Yeah, for sure, because if you look at the roster of 7 AM, besides the Tom Kench, everyone else is going to be really, really squishy. So if this Irelia does get ahead, she's going to be able to run rampant through that lineup of 7 AM. And we are going to end up seeing this Karma go into that support role. I really, really wanted to see it go into the top lane. Tank Karma. Hate playing against it, but I love seeing it shut down carries. So,
but what
that's
about
just
Tom
my
Kench?
take.
Doesn't
Tom
he do
Kench
a similar thing?
Tom Kench is, I would say, less annoying than Karma though, because Karma just keeps on auto attacking you for every single minion, and she keeps throwing those mantra cues. Whereas Tom Kench, he kind of just throws out his tongue. He gives you a nice little lick every once in a while, but it's not quite as frustrating as Karma.
Okay. Well, that is good to see now. And also just to remind everyone, the scoreline currently, I'm about to sneeze, but I'm not sure when it's coming, so I might cut off. Okay, 7 AM
Sneezy.
currently. Yes, Sneezy. We'll come back to him. 7 AM, they are 1-0 up. Eastern Wizards, they will be looking to pick up this game. They need to. If they lose here, the season is over for them, and it will be 7 AM playing Topaz in the final on Saturday. And where are we really looking at? You mentioned Sneezy. He's playing Ezreal. I think getting him ahead is something nice, but I'm not sure if that's exactly the lane where Eastern Wizards will be looking to go.
Yeah, on to Ezreal. It's going to be a little bit tricky in this bot lane against Caitlyn Karma. However, if we're looking at lanes, you have the kill threat in the mid lane. Rise and Elise are going to have kill power over Xerath, even though this is reworked Rise, remember. So you don't have the guaranteed root on your W. You do need to set it up with your Flux. That's also going to be an interesting thing to watch, just to see how the new Rise ends up working out, because I actually haven't seen too much of the new Rise gameplay, and
He still one-shots people.
Well, I can see that one. They didn't want to change that part, but they did want to change the part that, hey, at level 2, he guarantees that you're dead top lane or you're dead mid lane if you make a play happen. And I think it's a healthier change. We'll see how it ends up playing out in the game, but I do think it's about trying to find, if you can find an early kill onto this Tahm Kench, that is much appreciated onto the Irelia. However, after a certain point, this Tahm Kench is going to have so much health, whether it's in his green health bar, into that gray health bar, it's probably not worth throwing attention into the top side after a certain point.
Alright, as we will be slowly but surely loading into the second game of the day. 7 a.m. Mouse Place. I mean, now they're called 7 a.m. You might know them as Mouse Place. They are on a match point, looking to just pick up one more win. And I feel like what we said at the beginning of the last game, where every single person can step up and carry, I think it is also pretty true with the compositions, because you can, in theory, at least for 7 a.m., snowball any single of the lanes of your choosing. Given that snowballing Yoni Xerath could be a bit tricky, but I don't doubt their abilities to just go in and make sure that Yoni is going to be as disgusting as he was on the Syndra last time.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Yoni to one-shot people. However, one thing interesting to point out is King Titus will be going the Dark Harvest, which means that he wants to find early action and he wants to really go out and surge for it. He's not going for the electrocute for the kill pressure. He's mostly going for this to just ramp up the stacks. And then at that 15-18 minute mark, if he has a bunch of stacks, that's going to be insanely scary. Whoops.
Yeah, 7 a.m. they are going for some sort of stack on the brush. They are watching out for potential invades to be coming through, or they could actually be looking to make the move onto Sneezy themselves.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of creeping up here. I don't know if they have exactly the CC to actually lock it down, but they have plenty of damage. And now we kind of just hold our breath. I don't think anything's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hard CC is kind of unreliable for both the teams. Yoni would have to start with the Shocking Orb, and that's really hard to land on long ranges, and that's pretty much the only hard CC you have for 7 a.m. The first dragon also is going to be an Infernal, so I would expect quite a lot of attention to be put down towards that bot side of the map early on.
Yeah. Getting that early lead in the bot side will be beneficial. However, for the side of Eastern Wizards, it is a little bit tricky to do so because you have that Morgana Ezreal. Ezreal isn't going to provide much upfront damage. Does provide a good amount of follow-up. But it's going to be a lot easier for the Caitlyn Karma lane to get that lane priority as they are showing right now.
Faken is already getting the push in on the first wave, and Noxy did start with the Tormented Soil, so that he can get at least some poke in return. Both junglers starting bot side, now making their way towards the top side of the map, which could be big. That was where the game exploded for 7 a.m. last time, and why not try and do that the same thing again?
Yeah, and again, I think there's going to be a little bit of a heavy focus, or there should be a heavy focus coming out from Eastern Wizards on the top half of the map. And if the side of 7 a.m. have read this properly, you're going to have King Titus also scrapping a lot in this top side as he is going in for the invade. He doesn't find the Elise, but the ward does mean that he has knowledge as he's going to be also spotted, and now it's a ring around the rosy.
Both mid laners also looking to get the priority leg, and then will be the first one to go in, as the Scuttlecrab, I would assume, will be a major point of contest for both the teams.
Yeah, Scuttlecrab will definitely be a point of contest, given the fact that both of these junglers do need to get ahead early to really make their champion picks matter. Because if it gets to that 15-minute break point, these champions will fall off as far as damage impact goes. Ooh.
That Monster King finds a good cocoon, however, that is a stand on the Legend, and he's already down to half health. And you mentioned the early game junglers. This is where Lemon Monster King will need to prove his worth. He had a unlucky performance in game 1. I'm just going to say that, nothing more. Now he has got the chance to redeem himself, but he actually needs to do something on the Elise.
Yeah, he's pick the champion that has to make even more happen in the early game, because on the Jarvan, even if you don't get as much impact as you'd like, at least you turn into a tank later on. However, in this case, if the Elise doesn't get ahead, well, her tanky stats aren't very good either. Whereas, I mean, if we're looking at King Titus, even if he falls behind, he can at least be essentially a sensor and grail bot for fake Anana. So we'll still have some value here as we have a 3v3 into this bottom side. And so far, King Titus has been able to track Elise incredibly well.
Lemon Monster King sitting on that ward. However, Titus is pretty much out of mana, so he cannot just spam those javelins out, and yeah, he cannot really find anything, so he will be forced to recall. Just taking a look at how the lanes are forming up. 7 a.m. with the CS advantages across the board, which, given how game 1 went, is not even that surprising.
Yeah, it's not surprising, but already not a great look for the side of Eastern Wizards. Sure, some of their lanes aren't expected to do that well, such as this bottom lane. And in the mid lane, you are going to be a little bit outranged by the Xerath, but you still have that capability to duke it out a little bit.
Right.
Ooh.
Noxy actually is forced to flash as the focus result from Petarak would result in a root and probably the kill, since you've got the Yordle snapshots to extend the crowd control. So good force on the Summoner coming through from the ball lane of 7 a.m.
Yeah, 7 a.m. already looking to have a quick start and a great start to just continue to carry through. We have Sneezy also taking up the Sheen for his first purchase, wanting to try and combat some of the champions, poke them down. Maybe if you land a few of those Sheen procced Mystic shots, you're able to then transition it into getting lane priority because you send them back to base.
Right, and this game is already much slower than the game 1 that we saw. By that time, 7 a.m. were already insanely ahead and Yoni was 4-0-1. This time you are playing much slower of a game, which is interesting to see, provided that the junglers are more early game focused, but I guess not every game and not every meta is going to revolve around those two players.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen some good tracking come out from Titus so far on that first clear. You saw him go for the invade up in the top side. He found him out there, and then he went to help out in that bottom side. Also spotted out that Monster King was very low and secured a lot of protection for his bot lane down there.
Now, 7 a.m. They have got the gold lead, accumulated purely from that CS advantage. You've got already a BF sword on fake Nanas, and I would assume Yoni is also sitting on quite a bit of gold, seeing his items being picked up right now. When is the time to start making plays?
It really comes down to after this first tower comes down, which I expect will be towards this bottom side, you're looking to maybe pick up an early dragon, but it really comes down to the siege for this team. Just look at the possibilities. You have the Nidalee Spears, you have the Caitlyn, you have the Xerath. This siege composition is pretty disgusting. So it really comes down to, all right, let's just pick a lane. Do we have our items? And let's go just pick a lane and throw skill shots at people. So we'll see this composition turn on once we see I would say the Luden's Echo and the Sork Boots coming out from Yoni.
Alright, well, this is the spike we are going to be having our eyes on then, as the Infernal Dragon is going to be picked up. Next one is also an Infernal, spawning in 4.5 minutes. Therefore, Eastern Wizards, they will need to get themselves ahead. We mentioned 7 AM, so now, what are Eastern Wizards looking to do? When are they, or their plan, come into effect?
It really just has to be Lemon Monster King finding any sort of play into one of these lanes. And sure, once they start sieging, they can still look for that all-in play, but it gets much more difficult at that stage in the game. And right now, you have the option of, brawling it out, finding picks, but right now, Lemon Monster King down 20 CS and not looking for the plays.
Oh, here is the Vanguard's HP. They are looking for the play. Eastern Wizards, they get the first blood onto Yoni, and now the second kill could be coming through. The Realm Warp will be channeled as well. Vinny is in so much trouble. Lemon Monster King picking up that one. Titus underneath the tower. He's rooted up, and that's Eastern Wizards with 3 kills.
Yeah, and right when I say they needed to make a play happen, you saw a play happen, but it was off the back of the side of 7 AM. Making a misstep there, going a little bit too aggro, and for a time I thought it was okay, but once you saw Hippie make a move over and the side of 7 AM continuing to look for the play onto that blue buff, that's where you ran into some issues. And ooh, a lot of good damage coming out from Fake Ananas on this Caitlyn. Missing that last Peacemaker means that he won't be able to cash in onto the kill, but that was insanely good play.
It definitely was, and now the gold lead is pretty much nullified. You have got those items on an Aurelia, and this is what we wanted to see from Eastern Wizards. They are now looking for a play in the bullet, however, faking it as he is still alive. Noxy goes golden. Ace in the hole, not quite available. Here comes Lemon Monster King. He looks for the kill. That's a heal. Going to be burned from faking ass, and he also has to pop this top ward. He will be staying alive for a little while longer as Hippie joins the fray. He's got the stun. However, here comes Yoni. He snipes Noxy with the right of the arcane. Hippie still on the chase.
Turn around.
Forward is to stun though. He's still looking for those plays, just does not find it. That's Titus with a kill, and suddenly 7 AM find 2 Legenden with the spread on the spell flag. He picks up the double, and he's looking for more. However, it will be Lemon Monster King getting this one, and we are going to get a fight win in the end for Eastern Wizards.
And Eastern Wizards this time, they're able to just collapse onto the play, even though we saw a very nice execution, at least the start of the fight from the side of 7 AM. It was just turned around, a nice collapse coming out from Leggett, and just really just walking down. And Hippie, sure, the teleport didn't have great effects, but when you have your Rise walking down the mid lane with a good priority there, or following at least the Xerath, you're going to do a lot better in some of these more chaotic scenarios than Yoni will.
Alright, and now Legenden, he is 3-0-3, I should say. He didn't get to play League of Legends at all last time, but it is Eastern Wizards getting the early game they wanted. However, now it onus is on them. They need to be the ones snowballing it, because I don't feel like 7 AM are going to just fall back. They will keep trying to get the plays work in their favor. And the gold they accrued overall isn't all that big. I mean, sorry, it is good. It is nearly 1,000, but it isn't as big as what 7 AM had last time.
Yeah. And the important thing is that they are that they do have a lead. That is the important part, because that's a lot different from last game where, they were already behind several thousand gold at 13 minutes. I believe we were about
Oh,
7,000 gold.
That
And
crowd control. Yeah, this is what you
Yeah.
have to watch out for.
that bug got squashed. That's all I really have to say to that one. And ooh, a nice dodge coming out from Fake Ananas. These shoes on this guy, I need a pair of those, because I definitely don't move as well in real life as Fake Ananas is moving on the Caitlyn. Ooh.
Yeah, and Eastern Wizards, they are looking to find a pick for themselves in onto Vinny, who flashes an attack, he pops the thick skin, he gets a devour onto Hippie. However, that is a kill secured by Legendin. So 1-for-1 in kills, but it is still 7 AM, picking up that second Infernal.
Yeah, and right now, Legendin, he's looking incredibly powerful right now. He's building up towards the what it looks like to be a Rod of Ages. It's a little bit late. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he built towards the mask. I believe that's the other catalyst item. So I think that pick here, because it is double magic damage and also a karma on top of it, so I guess 2.5 magic damage stats. You're going to get a lot of value from that item here, and this does look like at least a start. We're going to game number 3.
Yeah, still, I feel like a while. Eastern Wizards, they have found a lead, but it's not as decisive, and now a play could be made in the bowling realm. Morbius Child brings in 2 members again and looking for the overload. What? He is unstoppable. Catches out Patrick, and yeah, well, this is exactly what Eastern Wizards need to do. However, they also need to sidestep Yoni's ultimate, as he's able to get one on the back, and we are going to go in a pause.
That's really awkward. Because right now it's you have a lot of action happening into that bottom side. You have the Xerath trying to pick people off, and then you just pause right in the middle of it. I guess Yoni, now he can really line up his targets,
Yeah, I'm not sure if he didn't actually interrupt it, because I know that my pause screen is exactly in the middle on top of Yoni, and that does not look like the ultimate animation.
Oh yeah, that's
it did
funny.
stop it. It is a bit. However, you mentioned about that possibility of going into the game 3, and you've got a Triforce now sitting on a Hippie. That is the item that Aurelian needs to pop off in a side lane, and it is starting to look good if you are a fan of the Eastern Wizards squad. As now Hippie engaged upon 1 against 2. Flashes away, the Tongue Lash doesn't connect with the stun. He also sidesteps from the Javelin toss. Our Yoni will be looking to join in through the mid lane. Hippie, he sidesteps pretty much all the skill shots. He avoids the stun. Our Legenda, he's overextended. That is a shut down. The Vanguard's Edge from Hippie is going to be coming through. He now jumps onto Yoni with the Blade Surges, and he does manage to find that kill. Vinny could be the next target. Stand up with the Cocoon, has got the thick skin, no flash though, and as well as the flawless duet, keeping him in place as a double is found by the top laner of Eastern Wizards.
Yeah, now Eastern Wizards really starting to cook with some gas here, at least in these solo lanes. You have Legendin. Sure, he dies there and gives up a big bounty, which ended up going over to the Xerath. So much needed gold going on to the Xerath there. But you get those extra 2 kills onto the Aurelia, and at this point in the game, with that Triforce and with Vinny building so much armor while you have Conqueror, this is an incredibly great situation for the team of Eastern Wizards.
Yeah, however, the game is still pretty much even in gold. It is only 400 in the lead. Titus is sitting behind that pit, and Eastern Wizards should be able to secure that Herald. It is not an objective worth sacrificing your life to steal, unless you can maybe find the Javelin. Okay, no. That was a bit too optimistic from me. Titus was trying, but he wasn't really willing to commit fully, and that is going to be Eastern Wizards with a Herald. The gold is even, but now they can use it to try and force some sort of objective play.
Yeah, and with that Herald, they can turn it into more gold, and now it's up to the side of Eastern Wizards. This time with a lead, can they effectively snowball some of these things? Because if we look at the gold, it's still very tight. It's pretty much dead even.
Only with the Rite of the Arcane, alright. He doesn't really find Sneezy, and so that is will live. And what you said, we are going to be looking for the execution. It is going to be paramount for the side of Eastern Wizards. They will need to prove that if they want to take the series, then you have to snowball against 7 AM. I didn't want to say mouse plays here for a second. And now they are given the opportunity to. However, if you look at the items, 7 AM aren't that far behind. You have the Infinity Edge and the Zeal completed for Fake Ananas, and even though Sneezy will be looking for his double item power spike soon, you're not that far off on the Kaelin. And Yoni, he's also doing fine. Luden's Echo and Oblivion Orb is a pretty good item set for a Zerath.
Yeah, and this is the fun part of League of Legends, because both of these compositions, they technically counter each other. You have the Siege composition coming out from 7 AM. You know, you're throwing up.
Oh my goodness.
Like so. You have the Siege composition coming out from 7 AM, and it's insanely scary, right? However, the side, what counters a Siege composition is just an all-in comp. And the side of Eastern Wizards, they have that. They have, you know, the Morgana binding, they have the Irelia, they have the Cocoon from the Elise as well.
I will have to interrupt your point because there's definitely a 5-5 brute in the mid lane and he engages with the Vanguard Judge. They already pick up the first kill. Eastern Wizards. They get us this one on boat. Peterek is already down again and picks up Vinny. That's 2 kills. Ace in the hole. Doesn't finish off the kill. However, can Rite of the Arcane get anyone? First shot misses. Second shot misses. Third goes wide. The fourth one from Tony gets a return kill. But now he's flashed on by again and Titus going over the wall. Tony, he is still alive. However, can the Shield Barrage find him? No, it doesn't. Titus, he picks up trouble. And 7 AM. They are turning this fight around. They pick up this 3-4-2. They do lose their mid lane tower, but that's a result that they will be happy with.
What a play! And now Eastern Wizards, they want more. Can they get it?
Yeah, Fake Ananas though, he shuts down Hippie in his face. And not like this. Not like this if you are Eastern Wizards.
Yeah, right now it does seem to be like 7 AM. They're able to find the plays to turn things around. Sure, that was a little bit of an overextension at the end of the play with Hippie going a little too far. But if we saw how that team fight went, you saw the side of Eastern Wizards, they had the inside track onto that mid lane, and you know, from that impression, you thought, hey, all right, they've got the inside track. There's no way.
Again, and he is stunned with that shocking orb. He's significantly tanky. Not that tanky on the rise, but he will be able to survive the burst. You see, one problem, if you are an Eastern Wizards fan, that is a triple Infernal with a Zerath and a Caitlyn. The longer this game goes, the harder those two will hit, and there is nothing right now that you can do about it.
Yeah, and not only that, you're also going to be taking poke coming in from Titus.
Right. Well, here goes Hippie. He flashes forward, picks up the shutdown. Nothing can be taken away from this man. That was a clean 1v1.
Yeah, a very short 1v1, but very clean one. And Caitlyn just never wins that. Let's be honest here. An 80 carry up against 2-item Irelia. If you both have 2 items, the Irelia is going to win in 90% of cases, unless if you do have that flash. But he didn't have flash this time, and we see the end result right there.
Legenden is a bit far up in the top lane. Hippie is going to be looking for that bot lane tier 1 and in the end able to secure it. Legenden, he is able to escape as there was no collapse initiated by the side of 7 AM. You see, after all those fights, this game is still pretty much even as now Hippie, he's fancied himself a bit of a trade, and this is what makes it so interesting to watch. You never really know who is actually ahead.
Yeah, you don't really, because of how these compositions do interact with each other. If the 5v5s are executed immediately, you're going to be looking towards Eastern Wizards to be winning those. But if the Eastern Wizards, if they can't find a way to start out the fight, then you're looking at the side of 7am, able to then slowly chip out the health bars on this Eastern Wizards squad. And we see a little bit of the response coming out from namely Hippie, and building that wit's end, wants to have that extra magic resist and extra healing capabilities to endure some of these longer sieges.
Something important to point out, Sneezy hit the infamous Ezreal 2-item power spike. He's got the Triforce and the completed Mana Immune, or as it's called now, the Mura Mana. So he will have a lot of damages. Right off the Arcane was initiated. 11 Monster King will actually not take any damage as the skill shot came through just a little bit too early.
Yeah, a little bit of a miss there, but now the side of Eastern Wizards, they're entering into more of a 1-3-1. They know that their solo laners are incredibly powerful, and you know, when your Irelia has 3 items, he's definitely in a power advantage. And not to mention, you have the Rise. Sure, he's ramping up a little bit. Ooh, might be a catch here.
Good cocoon onto Pateric, but that Inspire gives you more than enough movement speed to escape on the Karma, and it all becomes about the Baron in those next few minutes, which is also where the bot lane split push game becomes more important. You mentioned Hippie being 3 items. He will be able to deal with Vinny fairly effectively.
Yeah, he can deal with Vinny quite effectively, being able to just essentially use them as a punching bag, but
can he deal with 3 members? That's the question. Well, he's definitely going to try. Throws out the Vanguard Jet, the Strike Gate Shield coming through by the way. No, Fake Analysis crits are just too damn strong. Ace in the hole coming through as well as the True Barrage from Sneezy was nice, tagging onto pretty much all of the members, but 7am still able to pull through with that pick, secure it for themselves again, and trying to play the split push game, and it seems that Eastern Wizards will give over that Mountain Drake to 7am.
Yeah, and 7am, they respond in pretty nice fashion, collapsing onto the harder to deal with member, I would say, with the Irelia, being that the Irelia just has so much more kill threat, and the Rise, there are ways to collapse onto Rise. So you like to at least take out the Irelia threat, given that it is that bot side threat as well, and then you can transition it into that dragon. And Vinny, you know, he's got 2 teleports. He has a teleport summoner spell, and he has his own ultimate, so he's basically on split push, soak up the pressure duty.
However, he's also the front line on the side of 7am, and in those team fights, if you let Hippie just you know, engage in, it will be very hard for 7am to win those, and that's why Vinny will need to be on point with his teleports and when and where he joins the fight.
Yeah, if he teleports a little bit too deep here, there's no way for his team to help him. He's just kind of out on his lonesome there, and yeah, that's why this Karma pick is also so very important, because with that extra move speed buff, you're going to be able to move around. You're going to be able to get your poke champions out of the way of tricky situations because you have that extra speed. And now Vinny, he has joined up with his team. Now that he... what? Oh my lord.
Well, that is a full range spear, and now Hippie is going to be the target. He throws down the Vanguard Surge. He's trying to find the engage in onto Pateric. He's going to get the first one of the fight for Eastern Wizards. He's still going to go down. Monster King, no, actually, Hippie, he's still alive. It is a 2-for-1, I believe, for now, as King Titus does drop in the floor. Again, then, he eats the damage in his face, and Yoni manages to make it a 2-for-2.
Yeah, and all that action, and ends up being 2-for-2. As Yoni, he might want to change that even more, but doesn't hit the shots on that ultimate. And wow, what a fight.
Hippie survived for so long. I was convinced he was going to die in the backline. That's why I just kind of stopped following him mentally, and I was like, wait, he's still alive. You gotta watch that Irelia even more in the next fights. And I think it becomes important that we now highlight the people who we need to watch. Like, my votes are Hippie for Eastern Wizards, maybe Sneezy if he stays alive, and then definitely Fake Ananas and Titus's Spears. But if Fake Ananas stays alive throughout the entire fight and gets to land the damage, I think 7 AM they will be looking to wrap up the series.
Yeah, it really comes down to Fake Ananas and Yoni. Yoni's there to throw down some of the chip damage, and Fake Ananas kind of comes in and finishes them off with, just having a little more mobility with that Caitlyn Karma magic there. And you mentioned how, Hippie, you saw him go deep. You figured he was probably a dead man, but something to just take note of, he does have the Sterix gauge and on top of the Wit's End. So not only does he have that extra health bar to work with, he also has the magic resist, which is really what this backline is going to be doing to him. Besides the Caitlyn, you're looking at the Xerath damage, the Nidalee damage, and the Karma damage being the main sources of the upfront threat. And sure, you're going to end up dying to the Caitlyn, but he was able to take out the Karma. Yes, Karma at the end.
Yep. And Fake Ananas was looking for the ace in the hole in the middle lane. The Baron still hasn't been taken, and Eastern Wizards find a marginal gold advantage. And the reason why I'm saying marginal is because the fights have been even. Like, on its own, the goal lead is good. 1.5k, pretty respectable at 30 minutes. Not the biggest one, but also not the smallest. It is because 7 AM have been able to fight back in those fights that this game still is nowhere near decided.
Yeah, and that's what makes this game really, really fun to watch, because it is that stylistic clash where both teams have the opportunity, with the gold being so even, both of these teams have the opportunity to swing the game into their favor.
Ooh, Yoni's looking to snipe down Sneezy, but Sneezy, he's dodging absolutely everything, and he's not even bothered. However, here comes Hippie. He finds an engage onto Fake Ananas, already forces him to flash away. He gets a double stun with that flawless duet. He's trying to jump in. Okay, can't get his assassination. Yes, he does. That is a shutdown, and Eastern Wizards, they already fight 3, only in trade for the 1, as Hippie did fall in that fight earlier on. And they find the beautiful flank. They're gonna get the fight. Can they pick up any objectives?
Yeah, and if you're 7 AM, you just can't have your AD carry wander in like that into unknown territory. They wanted to try and get that Mountain Dragon.
Ooh, Legenden, he's trying to train. That's a good binding for Yoni. The Arcano Pulse goes just a bit wide. Sneezy, he's jumping forward with those Mystic Shots. However, he gets slapped in the face. Flash forward from Noxy. He's able to equalize, but Vinny, he picks up the double, and he's looking for more. The Devour is denied by the Black Shield. And in the end, Eastern Wizards find the ace, but at what cost?
What? How did he pick that kill onto the Leafs? I have to watch the replay of this one, but an insane turnaround coming out from Vinny, and he is able to save the day, I would say, for the side of 7 AM.
Yeah, if those kills didn't come through, that would have been a disaster for 7 AM. That probably could have been a Baron, or, well, I mean, no real benefit from just theorizing, but it would have been a much more decisive win for Eastern Wizards, and it just ends up being what it is. However, 7 AM, they have been playing through the dragons. The 5th one is spawning, and that's about the best dragon RNG you can get if you are playing around those drakes. The dragon is falling low, and Titus, oh not Titus, it will be Panoramic picking that one up. However, the Miner's Edge will slow him, and he cannot make it over the wall. With Hippie already picking one. Now he's looking for Fake Ananas. The stun from the Flawless Duet doesn't quite connect, but Legenden is on a killing spree. Here comes the Rite of the Arcane onto Noxy, and 2 shots will finish him off. And that is Yoni just throwing out some more. The dragon is secured for 7 AM, and it is a 2-for-2 trade as well.
Yeah, I feel like we keep saying 2-for-2 trades, and
that's exactly what happens all the time, though.
Yeah, and that's exactly what keeps happening time and time again. These teams are just so evenly matched, and it's it's a really fun game to watch. I hope everyone at home is enjoying this because I am enjoying this. And again, we come down to a little bit of a standstill, but the side of 7 a.m., they're able to get their 5th dragon. You mentioned it. This is a very fantastic dragon RNG for this team. They get themselves the 3 Inferno Dragons for their Siege and Poke composition, and then, pick themselves 2 more Mountain Dragons in the event that they can ever poke them off the turret.
The reason why it's also massive is because the Elder Dragon, it's going to be worth than the Baron for the side of 7 a.m. in some circumstances. I mean, not always. If they lose a fight, then I feel like they might not want to completely trade it. But if they ever get to the 2nd Elder territory, then this will be massive. Even the first one that is up in 3 minutes. Hippie, he was looking for something. Noxy, he's just chunked low. You're only doing so much work. The Javelin Toss. Not quite there from Titus.
I clenched for him.
Well, Sneezy, he's now jumping forward with those Mystic Shots. He's trying to do a lot of work on this Ezreal, and he has the potential with the 3 items, but he just cannot get onto the right targets. Now, well, talking about the right targets, but
my!
Fake Analysis, he just smites him down, and now Hippie is trying to go in with that Vanguard's Edge, and he will be able to pick off the Kaelin. He is still alive, he is still fighting. Again, then he picks up the double for Hippie. Again, he's gonna go onto Yoni. Vinny, he's in a lot of trouble. He has got the Devouring, but he doesn't use it. I believe he also cool. That's a triple kill. And Eastern Wizards, they somehow still manage to win the fight.
They steal the fight with the power of Hippie and Legeddon. You see them just fighting out onto 2 fronts, and that's just not how the side of 7 a.m. That's not how they want to fight these fights, and now they might be... This could be the end of game number 2.
Yeah, Eastern Wizards on top of Legeddon, on top of Hippie, they managed to come back in the series. They're on to the Nexus, and we are going to go into a game 3.
And what play coming out from the solo laners of Eastern Wizards. We were talking about how anyone on their team can carry, but these are 11 kill solo laners apiece. These solo laners were monstrous.
And really well done for Eastern Wizards to find something that worked out for them. Legeddon was massive early on. Hippie then took over, and in the end, triple infernal supermassive Kaelin couldn't save you from the Irelia. And now this series is at 1-1. There will be one last deciding game to see who will go into the finals, but to see who that will be, join us after the break.
The night beckons while you dream. Taste of destiny, you're searching for a way.
all comes down to this last deciding game. Who will go against Topaz on this Saturday in the final? After what we have seen in Game 1 and Game 2, this is hopefully not going to be a one-sided Game 3, although if it is, then kudos to the team that is going to be pulling that out, because, oh boy, both of those teams definitely want to step up here.
Yeah, and we saw Eastern Wizards, they really stepped up quite a bit in that second game, and I think if you're 7 a.m., the solution's pretty simple. Just ban out the Irelia in this game and then go from there. We saw in game number 1, Eastern Wizards didn't get the Irelia, and then we saw, Hippie die in the 1v1 top lane. Well, not in the 1v1, but he died very early on, and after that, he just wasn't able to recover individually. Now, we'll have to see if we see the Irelia ban come out from 7 a.m. and if what do the Eastern Wizards do to make adaptations in this game number 3 draft?
Yeah, Pyke is still going to be the ban as it was throughout this entire series. For the last game, 7 a.m, they are back on the blue side. Eastern Wizards are going to be sitting on the red side. Rek'Sai still banned, so pretty much the same bans. All the way through the series, these champions have been banned away for a reason, and we will not get to see what that reason is.
Yeah, and I think that's just, taken away from the early game action. Try and slow things down. King Titus, a monster on that champion, and, you saw him play the Nidalee, and yes, it was a terror in the farm department, but it wasn't as terrifying outside of that. And Rek'Sai is just another champion in that flavor, as they do ban away Irelia and they ban away the Locks. So they're actually not giving it over to Patrick. Instead, we might be seeing a first pick Yuumi priority.
Ooh, that's true, unless Eastern Wizards want to ban it out right now, since it has been banned in games 1 and 2, I believe. Not yet, though, and yeah, Yuumi is open.
Yeah, other options would be the Rise was a terror, which we do see end up locking in for that first pick. Other options as well, the Morgana, the Karma, both of those champions we did see in game number 2. And now they have the Yuumi Hovered. Could be locked in.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why not. The question is, what kind of AD carry you want to pair up with it? Usually, you would see the Savior, however, it was banned by Eastern Wizards themselves, as they didn't want to give it over. Or they could also go for another lane. Something to keep in mind is that Ryze can also be flexed to the top, as well as the mid lane could be played by both Vini and Yoni. So, not so much definite picks being locked in this draft just yet. That's actually Jarvan back for Lemon Monster King.
Yeah, going back to the Jarvan is a little bit interesting here, given the fact that the lease was available. So could have opted into the lease run back, but at the same time, we didn't see as much impact out of the lease pick as we would have liked to see as this early game driven monster. And the response is going to be Thresh locked in, so playing the hook champion against Yuumi is going to be very interesting, given the fact that if you miss these hooks, you're going to be heavily punished.
However, I believe I have seen it, where Thresh's flight can interrupt Yuumi going to her ally. You can actually get her out of the ally whilst she is flying with that flay. And so Petarik will have a lot of pressure on him. However, now Legeddon, he's gonna pick up a Corki, which I'm not trying to flex my memory. I believe it is a champion he has played in the Springsplit a few times, and he is pretty pretty good in it, I'm not going to lie, and also it provides you with some of that scaling options.
Yeah, and I mean, the side of 7 a.m., they've banned it out twice in the second phase. That's a big point to remember. And for Eastern Wizards, because they just didn't prioritize the mid pick, having it taken away 2 games in a row, this time they've decided they want to get Legenin onto a good matchup. Even if it ends up being played into the Rise, because Corki does do relatively well into the pick. So they've secured themselves at least a 50-50 matchup, and they're very happy moving forward with that instead of having picks taken away.
I'm just gonna resonate with the Twitch chat. Aatrox is still open. Maybe not as much priority. Alright, Yasuo. No, yeah. Go for an AD carry. Pick Lucian. So Sneezy is going to be having that aggressive early game ADC. So we see Eastern Wizards, they don't want to commit fully to the scaling in this final game. They realize that, you know what, playing through early game actually can be good. Especially if you then get some of your members fed. However, Yoni back on the Syndra. And Titus gets his Nunu.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see a little bit of a run back coming out from the side of 7 a.m. They've picked up that Nunu Syndra combination to really duel things out up against Lemon Monster King again. And this time Corki not as passive of a laner as the Orianna, as we see an Akali locked in for that very last pick for Hippie. So Corki will be able to fight over wave priority in the mid lane. However, someone who won't be able to do that is Akali in the top side. Because Ryze, he's definitely going to have way more wave priority in that top lane.
However, something to also watch is that we saw Hippie on Irelia last time. He was pushed in early game by Vinny's Temkench, but then he found a few kills on a playmaking top laner. He is playing a playmaking top laner with Akali that really also likes to spike around that level 6. Which means that actually, for Eastern Wizards, you have the similar ingredients to that game 1 when it comes to your draft and where you want to play. However, kind of saw that 7 a.m. with their Storm. The Nunu Syndra combo that was so big in game 1 is still there. Titus and Yoni, same 2 players on the same 2 champions. And it will be a matter of execution of who can in the end pull out their strat better and who will end up taking this game.
Yeah, it's going to be comfort up against comfort in this last game here, and it makes sense, right? This is a high pressure situation. The best way to make yourself comfortable in a positive mindset is to play a champion you're very comfortable on, and that has to be the reason why Lemon Monster King has opted back onto the Jarvan rather than that Elise pick.
Yes, we are going to be waiting over in that spectator relay, guys. I know you've been showing your support for the team, but don't forget to do that throughout the entire game. Even if they don't necessarily see you right now, it is still pretty nice. Alright, one last lane that I actually want to really look at maybe more in depth. Okay, we're just getting the information that the spectator at the stream, we're going to be getting into the game a bit later since there were just client bugs, no real way of explaining it. So we get more time. So let's start talking about this bot lane. Because Sneezy, he's playing Lucian, Noxie's playing Yumi. You definitely want to get some early kills. However, Petarik is on an early playmaker. Fakeananas is playing the Kai'Sa, and he had a very good performance in the game 1. So these two can also look for the early lead. So who really has the upper edge in that 2v2?
Well, kill threat definitely goes over to the Lucian Yumi, I would say, just because it's a lot harder for this Kai'Sa Thresh lane to make plays because it's heavily reliant on the Thresh finding the play, whereas you have a little more flexibility. You can chunk people out slowly but surely with the Yumi pick, and then you just go all in with the Lucian pick, because we all know the power of Lucian's all in. It's pretty terrifying, and when you have Yumi that guarantees poke, it's pretty much a point and click poke. You're going to be chipping out on 100 damage at a time, that just make things really easy for the Lucian. So in this lane, the Kaisa Thresh, it almost feels a little bit like a ticking time bomb, where you have to look for a play before you hit certain HP thresholds, otherwise the Lucian will start running you over.
Alright, so that is what we are looking at in the bot lane. I just also want to remind us that this is the jungle matchup. Now, sorry, switching to the jungle, I probably should say that before. That we saw in game 1. Titus was on a Lulu, Lemon Monster King was on a Jarvan. They are back on the Shaman set again, and Lemon Monster King, he didn't get to do anything in the game 1. He was shut down and it was pretty painful to watch. So what this means, 7 AM, they need to repeat that at whatever cost they can. Or, well, they don't need to do that, but they can do that for a free win. And who wouldn't want to do a free win? However, Eastern Wizards, they cannot allow that to happen at any cost whatsoever. Because we saw what Titus and Yoni will do if they snowball on that duo. They will take the entire game over, and they will not allow you to come back.
Yeah, if this duo gets ahead once again here, then things are going to get really, really dicey. Because we saw what Yoni was able to do. He basically, I'm not going to say he completely 1v9'd, but he was doing a lot of damage in that game. And when he got ahead, Titus got super far ahead as well. Because basically, this Nunu could walk wherever he wanted to go. Because he always had this multi-kill Yoni at his backside.
Yeah, he definitely did, and we are of course slowly but surely loading into the game. The stream will be behind, but you know what, I have a feeling we might be getting a pause at the beginning for the 3rd time, so I'm not sure if it will matter that much in the end, since we did see one come through all of this time. So stick with us for just a little while longer, because action is about to happen fairly soon. And yeah, I mean, I'm in the game already, I can confirm there was a pause.
Yep. A classic symptom of Nightstar Kachka casting.
Of any single online League of Legends competition.
No, I'm just gonna say it's because of us. Just because of us. We are the reason why games continue to get paused. Alright. Our spectator is now slowly getting into game, but we're still stuck in the pause. So, you know, I guess we're not missing out on too much here. And, well, teams are now very, very close to readying up here.
Yeah, just a few seconds, it was of course disconnected. It happens when you play online, someone will not connect in time, then you just gotta pause, wait for them, and it all should be fine. What I can say already though is that the first dragon is an Inferno.
Yeah, and early Inferno Dragon is going to be very nice for both of these teams, and just because of how much damage is on both sides. We have Lemon Monster King most likely going for the Cinder Hulk Jarvan build again, given the fact that he has double, not 80 carries, but he's got double ranged carry threats here. And it's just definitely better for him to be that front line and allow the Yuumi to dash in to help him initiate. This combination is going to be pretty nasty.
7 AM doing their standard thing for the 3rd time, and they are just covering that entrance to the jungle, watching out for any invade, but Eastern Wizards aren't going to give them an invade. And so we are yet again going to get the start that we were seeing all 2 games before that.
Yep. Just going to be that camp in the bush. Hopefully they face check into us. Otherwise, well, we've secured ourselves a very nice, defensive position. And really from 7 AM, this means that they're very confident in what they're bringing to the table. You know, they know that, hey, if we start out even, that's good enough for us.
Alright, and both junglers are going to be starting towards their bot sides, most likely going towards their top sides, as this is what we have seen them do so far. And we're gonna see if they want to actually pay attention towards that top lane matchup. It is in a Kali into Ryze. You have said in the Champion Select that Vinny will have the priority over the lane, and Hippie could be struggling to CS if Vinny plays it really well. But what I'm gonna add is that this matchup is also very explosive. Whoever gets the first kill has the potential to snowball it out of control.
Yeah, it's going to be very annoying to deal with if you end up falling one kill behind just because Vinny, well, he has the range. He's going to be able to harass you ceaselessly. And for Hippie, well, he's going to be able to, if you get ahead, you're going to be able to all in that much earlier once you hit that gunblade breakpoint. So for Hippie, it's really about hitting level 6 and hitting that gunblade. And Vinny, it's all about delaying that spike as long as possible.
Alright, this is what we are going to be watching and anticipating, as both the junglers are in the top lane, just like every other game. And Lemon Monster King is he's already looking towards that Skull Crab. Yoni will have the wrong priority from the mid lane though, which has turned out to be big this series so far. There are a lot of red wards, so I doubt that Titus will be able to get away with any sort of early ganks.
Yeah, and a good vision set up so far from the side of Eastern Wizards, knowing that, hey, Hippie didn't quite get out to a good start there in game number 1. So let's put him in a situation where he can succeed in game number 3. And they've made some good adjustments, getting in that river vision, and also just Hippie himself remembering to ward out this time. And now Hippie is in a position where, he's got the opportunity to at least lane this game out.
Lemon Monster King, he's sitting in a tri-bush. Fakenas and Petarik sitting very defensively in the ball lane. They know that something could be coming up. Titus has spotted the Skull Crab being taken, and so he probably relayed that. Lemon Monster King, he's somewhere around this ball lane. Not sure where, be careful just in case. Because that Jarvan, he will screw you over with a level 3 gank. Once he's got access to all of his abilities, that is some very easy lockdown.
Yeah, very easy lockdown, and also plenty of damage early on in this game. And right now it's just a little bit slow going. And I think both teams are very happy with this start. Just because when things get a little hectic, you're not sure. Things might be moving a little bit too fast for your brain or for comms to keep up with the action. So a little bit of a slow start here can be well welcomed here for both of these teams.
There is a ward in the brush as Lemon Monster King will be attempting a lane gank. However, I believe he is spotted right now. So 7 AM, they know it's happening, therefore the likelihood of this working in Eastern Wizards' favor is fairly low.
Yeah, it is going to be very low, and now it just depends on what do the side of 7 AM, what do they want to do with this knowledge? And it looks like they want to go with a lane gank. They want to meet fire with fire.
Good, that is onto Sneezy. The Ignite is already down. However, Petarik taking a little damage with them. Flash forward. Taking Nanas. He picks up the first blood. And now can 7 AM get more kills? Yes, they do. Yoni on the wrong. He gets the second. And that's the side that you want to see if you are a 7 AM fan.
Yeah, and they go for the play. They have the follow-up coming in from Titus. And at first, you thought it might have been a perfect setup for the side of Eastern Wizards. Exactly what they wanted, because Lemon Monster King is gonna bring in that extra damage as we see a fight in the top side.
Ooh, Hippie has hit at level 6, but Vinny has got more than enough damage to respawn. And with the ball and play, King Titus on the Infernal Dragon will be able to secure it for 7 AM. And guess what? Next trick is also Infernal.
Yeah, things are looking to be very heated up in this game number 3. They don't want the slow gameplay to last for very long. And, I gotta appreciate that. And again, if we reflect onto that bot lane play, it really came down to the fact that Yoni, he was able to find that extra roam distance because of the fact that Leggett, he actually decided to take it back. Having the gold to get that Sheen made him go for the recall, and as a result, Yoni was able to get wave pressure and join that chaotic fight in the bot lane.
Here comes the snowball from Titus. Valkyrie away from Legend. He also has got the blast cone, and that will take him away to safety. Just a bit of an encounter in the jungle. Neither side really gaining anything out of it. But that play in the bot lane, that's the big thing we need to talk about. Because 7 AM, they picked up a gold lead. And whereas Eastern Wizards, it took them a long time to put their gold lead into effect. Last time 7 AM had a gold lead, the game was over in 3 times the time of what we have already here.
Yeah, it was over very, very quickly, and if things go that way in this game, that's going to be a very unfortunate end. But Yoni, he wants to continue to battle out this mid lane, neither mid laner having the mana pool to really continue.
Ooh, Hippie going in the top lane onto Vinny. He's still got the second part of the perfect execution. I believe he has used it as Titus. He goes for a flyby in the mid lane. Doesn't really find anything. This is a much slower game than the game 1. It is about as fast as the game 2. And if we look at the individual CS differences, they are absolutely nothing. The only big one I would say is Legend in the mid lane and maybe Vinny in the top lane. But compared to what we have seen before, this is some very even laning.
Yeah, it's very negligible as far as lane differentials are going. It really comes down to that kill gold where we see the gold difference come out here. And with 2 kills, that is basically the 1,300 gold difference. And it looks like we might have another meetup in this bot side once again, and this time the side of 7 AM, they don't have that lane ward to spot out Lemon Monster King. They probably have an inkling of what might be happening though.
Oh, here is the final chapter, and Fakenas, he is rooted up. He has got the lantern but cannot take it, and Sneezy picks himself a kill. That is a good gank by Lemon Monster King.
Yeah, and it's just so hard to defend against this combination when you don't have the foreknowledge, that extra distance to react instantaneously. Instead, you have the final chapter coming in from Yuumi, able to lock you down, and then it just makes guaranteed CC. And now here comes the possible dive in the bot lane, 4v2.
It is going to be a 4 versus 3 though, because Yoni joins the fight from the mid lane. Lemon Monster King, oh, that is a good play from Terry. Can they lock down Lemon Monster King? He throws down the Cataclysm, but Yoni picks up the kill. That was a great play from the support of 7 AM.
Yeah, and a huge play coming out from Patrick there means that they're able to even out that trade in the bot side and get another kill for Yoni. And Yoni out on another journey to one-shot everyone in this game.
Yeah, and once again, well, I don't think I will have any time to talk about anything else down this fight. Sneezy is blown to pieces. Noxy is going to be next. That's a Yuumi. You just don't have any HP. A double kill picked up by Vinny and Legend. He could be next. Flash flame to Terek. He's gonna look up the Corki, and Fake Bananas picks up the kill. 7 AM. They're snowballing again.
Yeah, what is the support play? Patrick is just going absolutely nuts. Finding these plays, finding these hooks. Man's on fire.
0-0-6. 100% kill participation on Thresh. And Thresh as the support, not seen as much recently, which means that if you pick it, you better gotta make yourself look good, and that's exactly what Petarik is doing right now. He also has got the Mobi boots, and man, if he keeps landing those hooks, I've got bad news if you're an Eastern Wizards fan.
Yeah, and also a little bit of an interesting play coming out from Vinny there. You saw Titus actually channeling his absolute zero in that tri-bush there. And then you saw the realm warp come out from Vinny, actually moving that.
Oh, here goes the Monster King into that pixel brush. However, look at his health. He already needs to be retreating. King Titus forced to flash over the wall. And now it is going to be Eastern Wizards looking to intercept that dragon. Taking an ass from the bot side together with Pekarik. And the dragon nearly finishes off Lemon Monster King. 7M are looking strong, or looking to be in a strong position around this Drake, but they aren't really yet committing as Hippie goes over the wall with a perfect execution, tries to find the kill onto Vinny, who doesn't root him underneath the turret, loses a bit of HP. Hippie also receives a fair share of damage dealt with that overload, and now this is 7am going for that Drake.
Yeah, they get access to that Drake all after they find the positive health trait for the junglers here, as they're able to chip out Lemon Monster King. Now here comes the collapse.
Pekarik, Sneezy, he's got the flash, the hook still connect. No Fladle, the box will be flashed away from him. A good play from Pekarik, but unfortunately Sneezy still able to escape.
Yeah, very good play coming out from the Thresh here. And it's just continuation. He misses the play, sure, but then he hits the hook and then he drags him in. The box is set up in response, and that just forces Sneezy to flash out. Otherwise, he would be trapped. And now the side of 7am, they're starting to reassert themselves. All the buffs are starting to become theirs again, and this time it didn't happen up in the top side, but rather into the bot side river. And now we see a little bit reminiscent of game number 1, where King Titus just repeatedly visits that strong lane, and this time it is that bot.
Yeah, the Monster King. He is sticking around. Fake Ananas chunked with a prowling projectile. The Jarvan is still here. Could look to find the engage. The flame doesn't interrupt. He jumps in with that cataclysm. Fake Ananas, good killer instinct. And now the Monster King. He falls down to Pekarik. And here comes Hippie with a perfect execution. He gets the kill onto Fake Ananas, but is immediately traded back upon with Vinny. And the Realm Warp gets them all into the backline. That's Psych. That's not a disengage. They're trying to go now onto Sneezy. The snowball is being channeled by Tides. He's trying to curve it around the wall. Here comes Pekarik. That's a double lookup. The absolute zero is channeled. Vinny is on a rampage. Make that a double. That's a 5-0 rise for 7am.
And what a monster Vinny is right now onto this rise. He's got himself 5 kills in tandem with Pekarik. It's things are going from bad to worse here. If you are an Eastern Wizards fan, sure, you've got the late game in that double auto-attacking setup. However, can you get to that break point against the terror that is Syndra, Rise, and Nunu?
Yeah, those are the big questions we need to be asking. Light in the tunnel, you've got the Gunblade on Hippie. He's going to be maybe one-shotting people, if he actually gets onto them in the first place, which, you know, he did it once, he did it last time, so that's arguably the best man for Eastern Wizards to be hitting his power spike. I'm not gonna say he's ahead, because he's not by any means whatsoever, but, you know, we need to look for him. You gotta look for the possibilities that are out there for Eastern Wizards, and there might not be a lot, but you gotta cling on to the ones that you can find.
Yeah, and right now, Pekarik is just... He owns so much of this lane right now. I mean, he walks up into the lane, you have to give the man respect. If you walk up as well, then definitely something's up. You've definitely got a few extra members behind you. Otherwise, you're kind of just walking to your own death. And now it's going to be the siege up into the top side.
Ooh, Legend looking to go onto Yoni. Yoni doesn't get the stun, and that's a lot of damage. The power is unleashed onto Legend. He has to pop the barrier. He still has got the flash. The biggest snowball ever by Titus is going to be dodged away. Flash forward. The play from Patarik. Fake and Anas picks up the kill. Flag and drag away from the Monster King will get him to safety. But 7 AM, they find another one of those kills.
Yeah, and they just keep finding these kills. It's a little bit slower than game number 1, but again, it's 7 AM just finding the pick and then continuing to accelerate and get things off of these picks. Whereas we saw the side of Eastern Wizards, even though they were able to find some of these picks, they just weren't able to continuously cash in onto them.
No, they were not as Alright, that was interesting. I just got taken out of this Peggy O'Clyde. Alright, back in. Sneezy, he is going to get hooked. However, here comes the flag and drag. Patarik, he has bitten off a bit more than he can chew now. Fake and Nanas, 300 health. He's going to be looking to escape. Level Monster King is on that chase us. God damn it. Ooh! Oh yeah, well, under the turret. Fake and Nanas, oh! That's gonna kill onto Level Monster King. Noxie, he doesn't have the damage. That is a double, and Fake and Nanas stays alive.
Yeah, not only going for the dive, that was also the fact that you've brought a Yuumi with you. If you don't find that kill, you're the first one to die. You can't even bring down your Cataclysm. He unable to bring down the Cataclysm. Noxie could only sit there and really just take it. And Fake Ananas wins the 1v2. Very interesting there. And Lemon Monster King, I feel like that's kind of just been the story of the series for him, where he keeps trying to look for these plays, but the plays aren't happening for him.
Yeah, they just aren't, and this is the big problem. You've got 7 AM. Pretty similar game. They are currently nearly 8,000, or maybe 7.5 is a more accurate figure. Gold in the lead. Yoni maybe isn't gig big, but you know who is? It's Vinny with double items, and now also Fake Ananas. After picking up the double, he is going to be scary is an understatement. And whereas we are looking for Happy and maybe slowly Sneezy and Legend, and once they get some items to start doing something for Eastern Wizards, they are just going to be behind their opponents.
Yeah, and now for the side of Eastern Wizards, you're looking to hit some of these power spikes. You're waiting for Legeddon to hit that Triforce. You're waiting for your Lucian to hit that Essence Reaver. But you really just need items onto your solo laners at this point in the game. So you're going to end up bleeding out a little bit as we see the double charge come out from the Rift Herald into the mid lane. But it's all about stalling things out, slowing the game down, allow your solo laners to pick up much needed gold onto the side lane. Sure, the Rise is very powerful, but if you're able to farm out effectively against the Rise and then bring it into the team fight, that's where it can turn around.
Alright, 19 minutes in, the Baron 1 minute away from getting onto Summoner's Rift, and 7 AM show absolutely no signs of stopping anywhere. And if we think about the team fights, if 7 AM find any sort of CC, that could be either from Patarik, it could be from Yoni, it could be from Titus Engage, hell, it could even be Vinny just getting the root onto someone. That target is going to be blown to pieces. And if they get members of Eastern Wizards clump together and then kill them, then either say they could be looking to finish this game on the top of one play.
Yeah, they can look to finish that game off. And now with the Baron spawning at 20 minutes, they're just going to go straight on over here. And I feel like Eastern Wizards, they know what happened before.
Well, that Monster King gets behind the pit. It will be hard to steal it against a Consumer. And that's Might. However, he's still going in. He doesn't steal it. It will be Vinny securing the Baron. And 7 AM, they pick up the kill and get out alive.
They're a little too far ahead.
Yeah, well, Legend, he's trying to make the big plays, but I said it's a double for Yoni. He's looking for more Fake and Nanas on a rampage, picking off Noxie, Baron, that 3 kills. And the push from 7 AM. They could be looking for the base at the very least, if not more.
And they're going to be looking for the base here. Can they get anything more besides in him? doesn't look like they have the minions. They also have a large pile of gold to cash in onto, each member with more than 1,000 gold. And Hippie, he's looking to get this kill onto King Titus, but it's not going to happen with Patrick being able to escort him out of there.
Good Dark Passage from Petarek. He gets his jungler out to safety, and that is the inhib down. 12,000 gold in the ditch for Eastern Wizards, and it's not looking colorful at all. You are 1-1 in the series. This is the deciding game, and this is looking very much like the game one, just a little bit slower. That's the only silver lining.
Yeah, it is. A little bit desperation here when you're looking for silver linings, but again, if they're able to slow things down, unfortunately with this Baron buff, I don't think it will end up slowing the game down. It's only going to speed things up here, but comes down to the miracle pick. A good
hook onto Legenden, and they fly as well into the box. Pateric picks the kill up, and that is the pick that 7 AM need, and that's also something that Eastern Wizards couldn't afford to have them have happen to them. They lose their mid laner, and now they are getting sieged in all the lanes.
Yeah, and Legenden, he just really wanted that pick, Valkyrieing forward, and as a result, you know, it was just super easy to just find the CC to land onto him. And now Vinny, he could be in trouble here, is going to throw out the Realm Warp, but will get cancelled out.
What? He gets Sneezy! He picks up the level! He's still alive! He just keeps going! You cannot stop this man! 7-0 and 3! Legenden gets Yoni's power unleashed in his face! And 7 AM with a stomp in game 1, with a stomp in game 3, they are looking to take the semi-final 2-1. The Nexus is exposed, and 7 AM are going to the finals.
Yeah, and what a end to that game. Vinny throwing down some of the dance moves and also the big deeps into the face of Eastern Wizards, and they close it out 2-1. Game 2 was a little bit dicey, but with how dominant they were in games 1 and 2, I would say we've got quite the finals on our hands.
I mean, that's for sure. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But before we start talking about that, I mean, Eastern Wizards, game 2 was absolutely great from them. I do have to say that. They put up a fight. They didn't go down silently, but this is where it ends for them. 7 AM, they proved to be at least the better team today. That's the most I can say without, you know, getting crucified. But, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And now it sets up 7 AM up against Serenity Gaming and Topaz, right?
Yep.
And we've got a little bit of a clash of styles. Yesterday we saw Topaz running 2 games of funnel, and if I were to say one of the counters to funnel is a highly up-tempo early game, well, you know, the side of 7 AM, they have that early tempo. And I think this will make for a very, very exciting matchup.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be one. And it is going to be happening on Saturday, guys. So, if you aren't already, follow us on Twitch so we get the notifications. You can also join the Discord so that you can get spam tagged everyone every single time we go live, because why wouldn't you want to do that? But I think, Lisa, is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap things up for today?
Nothing. I've got nothing to give. But it was a pleasure to cast again, and it was a great series.
Yeah, it is going to be a best of 5 for the finals. Don't worry, we're not that scuffed to make the finals best of 3. However, guys, thank you all for watching. 7 AM, they make it to the finals off of a 2-1 scoreline. We'll see you on Saturday. Join the Discord to find out when. But for now, we're going to wish you a good night.